Good morning. Welcome to our daily devotion. It is Wednesday, February 17th already. We're in Matthew. We're continuing to go through the book of Matthew. Interesting book. As you know, Matthew was written to the Jews, the God's chosen people, even though we find out throughout the book where later on Jesus reveals himself to the Gentiles. But through this book, it's to the Jews that Jesus was teaching, that the book was written to. Good morning, Serena. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Grace. So we're in Matthew 9:27 through 34. I'm going to spend a couple days on these verses, but let me just read them to you. As Jesus went on from there, two blind men followed him, crying out, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." When he had gone indoors, the blind men came to him, and he asked them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" "Yes, Lord," they replied. Then Jesus touched their eyes and said, "According to your faith will it be done to you." In other words, if they had had no faith, they would not have been healed. If they have faith, they're healed according to your faith. And their sight was restored, meaning they had the faith. Morning, Roz. See that no one knows about this, but they went out and spread the news about him all over the region. I'll be talking about that tomorrow. While they were going out, a man who was demon-possessed and could not talk was brought to Jesus. And when the demon was driven out, the man who had been mute spoke. The crowd was amazed and said, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel." But the Pharisees said, "It is by the prince of demons that he drives out demons." Morning, Marcy. Morning, Michelle. Morning, Veronica. Even though the Pharisees, the religious leaders of that time, the religious leaders of the Jews, morning, Christina. Great to see your grandchildren and your son on social media. Miss those young people. They were the religious leaders at that time. They witnessed Jesus healing many times, many times. They were constantly following Jesus around to find out. They were just as curious about him as the people were. But there was jealousy because the people were following Jesus, listening to his teaching and not to their teaching. So there was a lot of jealousy. And so they refused to give Jesus credit, saying even that it's by the prince, because he's a prince of demons, that he's able to do that. Listen to this again. It says, but the Pharisees said, "It is by the prince of demons that he drives out demons," refusing to give credit to them. Now, here's what we have to realize. The vast majority in the world today refuse to put their faith in Jesus. They put their faith in many other gods. They put their faith in themselves. That's why in Luke 13:23 through 25, someone asked them this. Someone asked Jesus, "Are only a few people going to be saved?" And he said to them, "Make every effort to enter through the narrow door, because many, I tell you, will try to enter and will not be able to. Once the owner of the house gets up and closes the door, you will stand outside knocking and pleading, 'Sir, open the door for us.' But he will answer, 'I don't know you or where you come from.'" It talks about the narrow door. The narrow door is that door that only through Jesus. Only through Jesus. But I want to talk to you Christians this morning, okay? All of you reading this or watching this, not reading, but watching this video, the vast majority of you are already Christians. I think we're real guilty an awful lot of not always giving the Lord the credit that he deserves. I don't know how much time when you pray, I don't know how much time you use in your prayers to give credit to God. I know I thank God every day. Every day. I say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you that he has kept me and my family safe from the virus. My wife is in terrible health. I have my brother who's dying, living with us. I had my other brother and his girlfriend staying with us. If we had gotten the virus, it would have been a disaster to our household. I don't know what it had done with me being able to do the videos, etc. But God has kept us safe. Other households have been way more careful than what we've been. My son, my oldest son, was extremely careful, always warning us about what we were doing. He was extremely careful, and his household ended up getting the virus. My other son's household ended up getting the virus, but we didn't. and I'm constantly with my grandchildren, and they attend school every day. There's been children in their school that have ended up getting the virus that they were with, but they never got the virus. God, I'm convinced it's only because God kept me safe. And so I give him all the credit. I give him all the, I don't sit there and say, well, were we ever lucky? It's like, no, God, you deserve all the, for whatever reason you chose to keep us safe. And then I look back over my life, my lifetime, and I realize I could have been killed many times. I was in the military, in the Army, and half of my platoon ended up going to Vietnam and getting killed. I was in the police force of Santa Ana. My best friend that I was always doing shifts with ended up getting killed. I had friends killed in car accidents that I was with many times. I've been in car accidents where the vehicles rolled over several times. And for whatever God has kept me safe through all that. So I give him the credit for that. I don't just sit there and say I'm a lucky guy. I don't just sit there and say, it was my decisions. That it's God. It's God that kept me safe. I give him the credit. In John 14, it promises us that God will always be with us. In Hebrews, it says, never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. God has never left me. God has never forsaken me. God has protected me. Now, I'm certain each of you have stories you could tell about in your over your lifetime where you've seen that you should have, there's no way you should have made it through, but you did. God protected you. I know some of you that are watching this, I've known that you've had accidents. You've had car accidents, some of them serious. And I remember Alexia when she got her car accident, when she was in the back and a car hit, it was so close to where she was sitting. If it would have hit direct, she would not be here today. Now, she suffered injuries that but God kept her alive. God did not take her away. Now, we could say that was just luck. It's just a good thing the car didn't hit her direct and all that, or we can give God the credit. I choose to give God the credit. Morning, Paul. I choose to give God the credit. I hope you choose to give God credit. I'm sure you can think of many things, many times over your lifetime where it could easily have been doomsday for you. Now we have to ask ourselves, when God does keep us safe, when God does keep us alive, it has to be for a reason. He didn't just do it because you're a good person. He didn't just do it because you're a Christian. Good people die every day. Christians die every day. If he kept you alive, it's because he has a purpose for you. I've talked to you about this many, many times. Morning, John. God had a purpose for us before we were even born. Marcy, God knew before you were even born that you'd be taking care of your brother today. God knew that. And so God has kept you safe through all those years for that task, and I'm sure he still has things for you to do. I'm convinced he still has things for me to do. John, God has kept you alive. Look at you, lost your daughter, you lost your wife, but God has kept you alive for a purpose, and it's probably to have a place for your grandchildren to be raised up in. So there's a purpose for everything in our lives, and God keeps us safe to achieve those purposes. And so we have to give God the credit for that. The Pharisees refused to give Jesus credit. We have to make sure we give him the credit that he deserves. I mean, think of this now. I'm certain you appreciate it when people give you the credit that you deserve, whether it be at work, whether it be in your own family. When you do something, and how many times have you done something? Maybe you clean the whole house, and the family comes home and doesn't even acknowledge it, or says, "Oh wow, the house looks clean. Somebody must have cleaned it," but never gave you the credit. It's kind of like, it hurts a little bit, doesn't it? Stings. But if they walk in and say, "Did you clean out? Oh my goodness, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it looks so," you appreciate getting the credit, don't you? Hurts when you don't get the credit. How many times have I heard people at work that they gave the credit to someone else? I don't know how many times I've heard people at work that deserved the promotion, but they gave it to someone else less deserving. Hurts, stings. But when they do appreciate you, when they do give you the promotion you deserve, it feels good. Well, it's no different with God. It's no different with God. It must hurt God when God protects us and we don't give him the credit for it. We give the credit to good luck or something else, to ourselves. It hurts. So God deserves the credit many times in our lives. And so I'm going to make sure that I acknowledge him in my prayer time, where I acknowledge the fact that he has done things in my life. Even these devotions, they're and for whatever reasons, they're up, then they're down. They're up, they're down. And I could sit there and say, well, it's because I wasn't enthused enough in the devotions. It's because I didn't pick the right topics. It's because I didn't give the right headings and it didn't catch the people's attention. Or I can say, it's a God thing. It's a God thing. God lays it on the hearts of people to watch, and God does not lay it on the hearts of people to watch. And it's not about me, that I'm just an instrument of his. So I give God the credit when the numbers are up there and when not down there. Then I realize that it's something that I'm doing, or that's something that I'm not doing. So no matter what in my life, that's why Romans 8:28 is my favorite verse, where it says, "We know that in all things God works for our good for those who have been called according to his purpose." Everything that happens in my life has a purpose, and God makes sure something good comes out of everything that happens in my life. So if this video, for whatever reason, had got 200 views, I wouldn't sit there and say, wow, I must have did something today. I must have shown more enthusiasm. I must have picked the right topic. I must have given the right heading. It's like, no, it's a God thing. It's a God thing. So I give God the credit. I hope you do that same thing. I hope you're giving God the credit that he deserves in your life. Amen. I'm thankful for those of you that watch. I'm thankful for those of you that share these videos. Tonight will be Crash, our youth group. I'll be singing a song again. And for the rest of you, I'll see you again tomorrow morning, Thursday morning at 8 o'clock for the next daily devotion. I thank you for those of you that are made a commitment to these daily devotions. God will honor that. Your faith will grow. Have a great day. See you tonight or tomorrow.